Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone. As I get right home with you in the afternoon, you can find me on television. That's Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find us syndicated on Channel 182 Charter Communications. That's a part of the Spectrum Network up in North Alabama. So proud to be part of that team as well. You can also find us on our newscaster studio. That's where you'll find the podcast. Another way of finding us is on the radio. That's WZLA radio station located in South Carolina, the biggest country station out there. And also so many different ways you can find us on all of the social media platforms. If you'll go to facebook.com/D Feazell, that's D, and then Feazell, as you see right there on the markaround right there, it's Feazell. You can find us there, and if you're going ahead and like the page, that automatically puts you in a drawing for the contest. We give away restaurant cards every week, every single Friday. But it's so good to be with you. Continue sending email. I love them. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. So today's topic is a really exciting one. It's the future of tech jobs. I love tech jobs. As a matter of fact, if I were a kid in high school right now, I would not only be looking at one tech job, I would be looking at two. And that's how fast those careers are growing, and they are growing by leaps and bounds. So the career jobs are growing, they're changing and disappearing. Okay, so let me just go ahead and start this way. Okay, so 21 years ago, started Donna's Edge. We're recording very differently than we are today. So today I use AI to help organize research, brainstorm ideas, and save time. But the conversations, the interviews, and the relationships are still very human. You know, a lot of people say, oh, AI is taking away, and in some cases it could. I remember when the internet came out. Oh, that was a sore bad. People were just all against the internet. I remember when cell phones came out. You know, they said, oh, everybody's going to know what you're doing. Guess what? They already were. So it just helped put into a pipeline your cell phones, the internet, and now AI. So I wanted to talk to you about technology and how it has made possible our show to reach viewers nationwide on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and locally right here in South Carolina and in Alabama. Okay, so technology is changing every single industry. And so we're going to talk about that. So when many people actually hear tech jobs, they think of Silicon Valley programmers, you know, but today's technology reaches nearly every profession. Technology now impacts healthcare, agriculture. Oh yeah, I know a lot of folks who have chicken houses, and before they had to stay at the chicken house. They were afraid to leave town for even a weekend holiday, so they were staying home. But now everything is on the iPhone. And what happens, I've talked to quite a few chicken house growers, and what they are telling me is that everything, if something goes out, let's say maybe it gets too hot in the chicken house, they can actually adjust the temperature on their cell phone while they're out of the country. So it's real easy to do. So I'm glad to see that. It's made life a lot easier. Banking uses it, of course, we know that. Manufacturing, education does, and construction. Oh yeah, we've had a lot of folks out doing some work here at the house. You'd be amazed at what they are using. Transportation, retail, television and broadcasting, like what we do. A lot of small businesses have really embraced the new technology. Even family farms now use drones. They'll use GPS-guided tractors, automated irrigation, and artificial intelligence to improve crop production. Now, hospitals use robots now for surgeries. Can you imagine that? You don't get someone who has been, maybe they've been in surgery already for 10 hours, and then you're injured somehow and have to have surgery, and that poor tired doctor has to work on you. Oh boy, yeah, how those things can work. Schools use AI tutors. Mm-hmm. Retail stores use automated checkout system. Technology isn't replacing every worker, but it's changing how work gets done. And I'll have to tell you, in a lot of cases, I'm really embracing it. Now, let's talk about the fastest growing tech careers. And it's going to take a few minutes for this because I'm telling you, those careers are expanding. Now, when I grew up, my dad had a tech job. Yeah, he was a machine operator. He did so many tech jobs that are out there. He just did a lot of different things, and we never went hungry. I'm just telling you, we always wore really nice clothes. And the neat thing about what he did is he was, unless he had to work overtime, unless somebody, people didn't show up for jobs back then as well. So if he had to do someone's job and he got in a little bit late, that was a rare occurrence. So basically, he came in really early in the morning because he was a supervisor. So he would have to be there before it opened. So he would generally get to his work at 5 o'clock, and generally by through 3 o'clock p.m., he was done. He was out the door. No weekend hours, no working retail, none of that stuff. And he really enjoyed it. And it was a well-paying job. And I'll have to tell you, I'm talking to you kids about this. Okay, a lot of people want to start out at the top on a job. Let me tell you what his idea and what my husband Phil's idea has always been about that. Start at the bottom. And some of you question me about that. Why would you start at the bottom of a job, Donna? Okay, this is why you would start at the bottom. You're going to be able to know all the jobs. So when you move up within the company, you're going to be much more secure and people are going to trust you more. When you have to fix a problem for someone, they know you've already done it. You've had that experience. They're going to be more likely to trust you and to understand what you're saying. And you're going to have the guidance that you would not have had you not tried those jobs out to begin with. So yes, start at the bottom. I'm telling you, those are the best managers. Now let's look at some careers expected to see some tremendous growth over the next decade and probably within just the next few years. Artificial intelligence specialist. AI has become one of the fastest growing fields in the world. Now, these professionals will be people who build AI systems, train language models. Think about this. There's brand new things are coming up out there. Improve automation, create intelligent software. Almost every major company is investing heavily in AI. Cybersecurity professionals as technologies grow. I would like to say one thing. Have you noticed when banks are being robbed? Have you noticed they have such old technology? They really need to grasp this stuff. Even we have better cameras than they do. So maybe some of these banks will catch hold of this. So let's think about as technology grows, so does cybercrime. Cybersecurity experts protect banks. I hope that happens. Hospitals, government agencies, small businesses. Absolutely, we're in the niche. Also, personal information. Demand is expected to remain extremely high for years to come, so you'll always have a job. How about data analyst? Every click online creates data. You know that. Just think about shopping for, say, blinds for your windows. Before you know it, you're getting advertisements all over the place. So every click online creates data. Now, companies need professionals who can understand that information and help businesses make smarter decisions. So data analysts are becoming essential in almost every industry. How about cloud computing specialists instead of storing information on office computers? So businesses now rely on cloud services. Cloud engineers help companies build secure online systems that employees can access from anywhere. You know, this really thing when COVID hit, which was a horrible time in our history, in the world history, basically, so many people had to work from home. Think about had we had AI then like we have it now. I'm just telling you, I love it. My studio is in my home. It's much easier. I don't have to spend time out on the road. Now, I like to go visit with my sponsors. I go to Alabama once a month, and I enjoy that. But I'm talking about as far as going to a studio, I don't do that anymore. It's all in-house. I didn't think I would be this disciplined enough to do that, but actually am. And I find that I get a lot more done in less hours because everything is here. I'm using the internet. I've got the high-speed internet here. I use AI for research. I do all those wonderful things that would normally have taken me hours to do. Let's talk about robotics technicians. Robots aren't just in factories anymore. They're all over the place. Warehouses use them. How about this? Hospitals? We mentioned that just a few minutes ago. Agriculture, we mentioned that. That's a great thing. Manufacturing companies, delivery services, someone who has to build, maintain, and repair these systems. And that's another thing I've heard people say. Well, there goes my job. I talked with a lady one time who did my taxes. She did our taxes. And so I asked her what she thought about fair tax. I love the structure of fair tax. This probably never happened, but I love the idea of that. The thing about fair tax is it would take away the IRS. So when I talked with her about that, I'm thinking, oh, she's probably nervous about that. What if it happens? She'll probably lose her job. She said, oh man, that would be the most wonderful thing. She said, you don't have to look at people in the eyes when I tell them they've got to pay thousands of dollars in taxes. She said, this way I would be able to help people build their businesses, which is a positive thing instead of a negative thing, which it would be terrible. I got to tell you, you got to pay thousands of dollars in taxes. I agree with her. But somebody, when it comes to tech jobs, somebody has to build, maintain, and repair the systems. Hey, it's not God. You know what I mean? Things are going to break down. Things are going to wear out. A fire could happen. So many things are going to happen. And a repair person is extremely helpful. Think about your cell phone. When the cell phone, if you drop it in the water, if you drop it, a truck runs over it. And believe me, it happened when we were in the cell phone business. A lot of our construction guys would bring in a phone that they had run over with a big truck. You are almost beside yourself when you don't have your cell phone. It's that serious. So think about software developers that develop apps, websites, software. And I'm going to tell you what, websites are really hard to do. Now, Phil does that, and there are a few customers he still maintains websites because we're friends with them, and it's just easy for Phil to handle it. But websites are getting even more into AI, which is pretty awesome. Think about business software. Think about your bookkeeping system, all of those things that make it so easy. When I get my taxes done, or if I have to take my taxes somewhere, or the debits and the credits to someone to analyze my business, all I've got to do is or Phil does it for me, but I could do it if I wanted to. But all he does is just goes to the computer and just puts in a few things, and there it is. Back in the old days when I owned my first business, back around 1985, it was not that easy. If you had to show a business, because we were part of they call it head hunting, kind of a business. It was Snelling Personnel Services. So we had to send reports out once a month. And then sometimes they would just ask for a report. I would have to stop everything I was doing and report for them. It was so difficult, so hard to do. Now it is so easy. Somebody wants to report, zing zong, it's done. All I have to do is send it. And also we do everything email now. You remember back in the days when we first started selling cell phones and we started using text, we were told in this big meeting one time in corporate, no one should ever, under any circumstances, send a text to their customers. And boy, we were taught that. Now your customers want you to send text. If you don't do it, you're not in the loop. And it really comes in handy because I feel like I'm not bothering somebody. If I have to, let's say somebody's running an ad with me and I need some information from them, I'll just send them a text really quick and say, this is what I need. Send it to me ASAP. So I'm going ahead and get your commercial updated. That's all I've got to do. And it's all they have to do as well. Think of, we talked about the business software. Think about smart home devices. We have a security system here at the house. Almost every room has a camera in it. And if somebody were to break in, we go on a vacation, I've got lots of really neat things here that I would not want anybody to break in and get and, take to a pawn shop somewhere. So the smart home devices, and another thing is not wired. Back in the day, if you had a home security system or a business security system, you would wonder, oh my goodness, is somebody going to get some pliers and cut that wire? If they do that, they're going to be able to get in and steal me blind. Can't happen anymore. Okay, so everything goes to a cloud, all the recordings. If a cat walks by, my cat Greenlee has a girlfriend apparently. So when this cat sometimes walks by the front porch, the camera goes off. So we know when his girlfriend is walking by. But everything, home devices, smart home devices, all those things require developers. Programming remains one of the strongest long-term careers that there is. I've got to go into a commercial break. I'm running just a little bit late, so I will return in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there with me, okay? I'll be right back. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. You know, finding the right home isn't just about bedrooms and square footage. It's about comfort, security, and the feeling you get the moment you walk through the door. That's why so many families across Greenwood and the Lakelands area trust Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams. And I'll tell you from personal experience, Jenny was my realtor, and she truly cares about her clients. Jenny takes the time to listen, to understand what matters most, and to guide you every step of the way, whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, or ready to sell. Because this isn't just a transaction, it's your life. With local knowledge, personal care, and a commitment to getting it right, Jenny Ferguson makes the process simple and even enjoyable. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, now's the time to make your move. Call Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams in Greenwood today and take the next step toward a place you'll truly love coming home to. Shine your style at Kiss My Glass right here in the Anderson Mall. There's a place where style meets sparkle. At Kiss My Glass, every piece is handcrafted, custom designed, and made to shine just like you. Owner Beth Gibson brings creativity to life with stunning custom tumblers, gifts, and one-of-a-kind pieces you won't find anywhere else. Look for the perfect gift or something uniquely you, from bold and glamorous to simple and elegant. There's something for every style, so stop by, get inspired, and leave with something unforgettable. Kiss My Glass inside the Anderson Mall, Anderson, South Carolina, where your sparkle begins. Be sure to check out Kiss My Glass on Facebook for updates and specials and gift ideas. Good afternoon, Sunshine. Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck with Lakelands Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. So what is the Beamer? Okay, now the Beamer uses very gentle pulse to electromagnetic signals. This will stimulate healthy muscles and it supports the temporary blood flow. Now let's talk Beamer and circulation support. Now the Beamer gently supports natural circulation in healthy muscles. Now that's what I call natural health. Thank you so much for watching your Medical Minute brought to you by Dr. Chuck. You know who he's with. He's with Lakelands Chiropractic, where an ounce of prevention is worth what? A pound of cure. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the afternoon. You take care. Good afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate that. I know you could be doing anything else, but you're watching me right now, and I definitely appreciate that. Continue sending email. I love them. And some of the email is about what's happening to our jobs. What's going to happen? I'm telling you, every decade in the history of the world, we've always thought, okay, this is the end. All of the jobs are gone. And guess what? We have more. Back in the old days, let's just use New York City for an example. You know that there was a time once where we had no cars. And in New York, there were carriages, there were stages that had horses. You know what? There was a person back a long time ago that was actually the pooper scooper for the horses. Yeah, you know what I mean. That person had the job of picking up the poop that fell on the streets from the horses. You know what? I bet that person's pretty glad when you didn't have to do that anymore. So as we grow and as we evolve and we become supposedly smarter, sometimes I wonder, but as we get more productive, we have to jump a few hurdles and sometimes make things a lot easier. And I just think back to the pooper scooper back in New York City. Nobody has that job now unless it's for dogs walking around that may get loose. But anyway, think of the strongest long-term careers that are happening right now. Programming is one of the main ones right here. Okay, let's talk about jobs being changed by AI. And that's been a huge concern. I was, when we first learned of AI, I was one of those, I don't know about this. I'm not real sure. But let's just discuss something maybe many people are asking. Will AI replace jobs? The answer is some jobs will disappear. The pooper scooper job person who was pooper scooping the horses back in the day in New York, that job has long disappeared. Okay, but something much better came along. So many will just change. Examples are going to include this. It's customer service. A lot of companies now use AI chatbots before customers speak with a person. Now, when this started years and years ago, now I didn't like it. I was not a fan whatsoever. But what I've noticed now, when I talk with the chat box, I seem to be able to reach the person better, but now there are a few pert words that you might want to use. So 9 times out of 10, this is what happens. When I have to talk to a big company about customer service, usually nothing is there that is my problem. They'll list about 10 different things and it'll always be none of them. So what I do is I just say live agent. If you will say live agent, you're not going to be on hold near as long. They'll go ahead and get you out there. The human representatives are still needed. Absolutely they are, but they handle more complex problems. So bookkeeping, like basic bookkeeping, is becoming automated. So professionals now focus more on financial planning and consulting. What about graphic design? AI can generate logos and artwork very quickly. Designers who learn to work with AI may become more productive. How about writing? AI can draft articles and marketing materials, but skilled writers remain valuable because people still want creativity, storytelling, fact checking, and emotional connection. Absolutely. Now, AI is not perfect. So when you are writing something, you've really got to pay attention, because I'm just telling you, I can detect when somebody has written something AI, and I know that it's AI. Because first of all, it doesn't really sound like this, maybe this person's personality. Personality's got to be in there. Personality, I'm just telling you, if you'll incorporate AI with your good personality, you're really going to get somewhere. I promise you that. Oh, let's talk about broadcasting. Oh my goodness, how that has changed over the years. 21 years ago, I had to be at the studio. I had to have a lighting person. There were 3 lights behind me, 3 lights in front of me. You had to have the sound guy, okay? And if you even moved and you just accidentally unplugged something, I'm going to tell you would be the demonized person of the day. You just would. So there was a time I would dread remotes. Okay, so I would have my customers and they would want me to go to their place of business and do a live remote. Oh, it's such a headache because you had to have everybody there on time. And I'm one of those, I'm an hour ahead and I don't need to be doing that. But sometimes I'm like the mother-in-law that gets there too early. But I would be early. And so I learned my tech guys, the camera guy and the lighting guy, I would tell them if the promotion was going to be at 1, I would tell them 12:30. And that way they would get there at a halfway decent hour. But I'm going to tell you what, you've learned to take care of people and you still do your tech jobs. Okay. The tech people who help me, which is most of the time is my husband, Phil, he is like, without him, I wouldn't have a show. That's just the way it is because he does all of the background stuff. He does all of the editing. I do some editing, but not much. But he does it on big scale. And I don't have to hire anybody because he's got that built-in knowledge. It's just something he loves to do. But even television and radio are changing. You know what AI can do? AI can actually edit videos now. They can create captions. They can generate graphics. I've done that before. Organize research, but audiences still connect with real personalities and authentic conversations. I have seen some of the AI generated talk shows, and I'm just telling you, it's missing out. It will never work. I can't see that ever being a thing, but it's okay to use some of the AI to help you along your life. Now, that's something that when you're talking one-on-one connections and conversations, you've got to have a live person there that can actually get those voices and get everybody generated. But that's something technology can't easily replace. Let's talk about new careers that did not exist. And I've got to hurry up. I've only got 3 minutes left in this segment. But new careers that did not exist 10 years ago. Okay, this is really cool. Technology creates entirely new professions. Some examples include AI prompt engineer. Yeah, if you're in high school right now and you're just, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You need to be going to your tech school and finding out what they are going to be offering, because they're the ones who are going to get to it quicker. And you won't probably have to have a degree. I don't know that, but I'm just telling you, it'll put you on a fast pace. So you got your AI prompt engineer. How about a drone pilot? Would you have thought about that 10 years ago? Social media manager, digital content creator. How about a virtual reality designer? How about an augmented reality developer? Yeah, those are some really important jobs. How about podcast producer? You're seeing that now. That's what Phil does. Streaming media producer, Phil does that. E-commerce specialist. Digital marketing strategist, I'm kind of that, but I still do a lot of one hands on hand. You know what I mean? Many of these careers barely existed a decade ago. So imagine what careers will exist 10 years from now. Skills that will, I'm just telling you, it's really growing. Skills that will always matter, though. Technology changes, but human skills remain valuable. Let's talk about employers consistently look for people who have communication, being able to explain ideas clearly. How about critical thinking, solving problems technology can't solve by itself? Remember, it's not a live human being. How about creativity, coming up with original ideas? Adaptability, learning new systems throughout your career. Teamwork, you've got to work well with others. Without teamwork, forget it. How about emotional intelligence? Just understanding people, showing empathy, being able to understand a person's personality. Those things are extremely important. AI can't do that. Building relationships. And these qualities become even more valuable as technology advances. How about advice from students and adults? Now, if you're a student, don't worry about choosing the perfect career. Focus on learning how to learn. Learning how to learn. Technology will continue changing throughout your lifetime, even more so than it has my lifetime. So if you're already working, never stop learning. Take online classes, earn certifications. That's extremely important. I'm still doing that. I'm going to be going to Clemson University for some agriculture classes. I'm going to still do that. You know, you still got to learn. If you don't learn, if you don't dig in and learn new things, you're going to be left way behind and you'll never have a career. Explore AI tools. Stay curious. The workers who continue learning will have the greatest opportunities. Now, technology isn't something to fear. It's something to understand. Throughout history, new inventions have always changed the workforce. Electricity, automobiles, computers, the internet. Yeah, I lived through that. Now, artificial intelligence. So each innovation created challenges, but it also created incredible opportunities. The future belongs to people who are willing to learn, adapt, and embrace change. Thank you so much for joining us today on Donna's Edge. I'm Donna Feazell. Until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and remember, the future isn't something that happens to us. It's something we help create. See you next time.
Because of your overwhelming support, our $14.88 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. including my classic standard My Pillow is only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic My Pillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.